All right. Oh my goodness, I'm very happy. I'm very excited. I think that's crooked. Hold on. Wait. Don't go anywhere. Boop. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. Looks about straight. All right. Now, what do we have here? I think I'll grab the bottle. Oh, I wonder what this is. Ta-da! Hello, everybody. Look at this. Elijah Craig, barrel proof. But it looks a little funny. It's got a little tag on it. It's got a gold sticker. The barrel proof label looks awfully sloppy. I wonder what that could mean. Oh yeah, it is not an A batch. It's not a B batch. It's not a C batch. It's not a private barrel either. It's a Y batch. And it's from the You Do Bourbon Experience in Bardstown, Kentucky. Wow. This one's a beauty. It is 134.4 proof. It is a Y624, 67.2% alcohol by volume. And there is a little piece of information with this that came as a surprise. So, as I'm sure most of you watching this would probably know, and to those uninitiated, in the ways of the bourbon that is Elijah Craig barrel proof, for a long time it was a 12-year minimum age statement. What does that mean? Well, that means the only liquid that would go on this bottle was 12 years old or older. Last year, it's 2024, 2023, they removed that statement. It's a variable now. It can be anything. It could be 8 years. It could be 15. Who knows? And it's a large batch of barrels that they put together and mushed together. However, this little guy is a little different. Heaven Hill, the distillery that produces this fine gobble, takes a batch of 10 barrels and mixes them together for flavor. And the average age, I believe, is about 12 years old. It's the youngest. They have to disclose that by law, the youngest barrel in the batch. When my father and I visited the distillery and did this tour, as I've explained before in a different video, it was a toss-up between the Bernheim at this point. Before I tried this bourbon, it was the Bernheim. That was going to be it. It was a berry monster. And delicious. But when I tasted this, my first impressions was that it was old. And when I asked my tour guide, Alan, what went into this batch, he said, and I quote, 10 barrels, a small batch of 10 barrels of 12-year-old and 18-year-old barrels of Elijah Craig whiskey. Oh my goodness. That is a big, big deal. And when I saw the color of this, mind you, when you go up to the bottling stations, they have the 4 different pumps that you pull, and there's a vessel, a cylinder of this beautiful brown liquid in each one of those pumps for each different brand that they have. They have the select stock, which is whatever's on the menu at Heaven Hill that they're deciding to put out as either an experimental whiskey or a old classic finish or an ultra aged version of their other 3 offerings. Elijah Craig, barrel proof, Larceny, barrel proof, they're wheated, and a Bernheim, a corn whiskey, barrel proof. And as soon as I walked up to the Elijah Craig one, the difference in color was immeasurable. It almost looked like a completely different liquid. In fact, I am going to do a small comparison that I've been very curious about. And surprisingly enough, I haven't done this yet. I wanted to save it for a little surprise. Oh, I'm going to go off to the side here. Oh. And grab this little guy. This is my C923. As you can see, I've been doing quite a lot to this. It's amazing, really. It's beautiful. And I'm just comparing the color between these two bourbons. If I were to look at them, I dare say it, the Elijah Craig is actually a little lighter than the C923, which is about 13 years, 7 months with 15 and 17-year-old barrels in there. This looks a little lighter. And in fact, I might even pour myself a little bit of this Elijah Craig, but just to do a comparison, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. C923, my love, I'm going to put you off to the side. If you haven't tried this, try it. You will not be unhappy. It's a great experience of a whiskey. Not the most complex, not the most amazing thing under the sun, but if you want a roller coaster ride, if you're looking for a glass, a pour that is alive and vibrant and like fireworks and will completely and totally take you by surprise, and for a really good time, C923 is the epitome of a really wonderful bourbon. Plus, if you're a Heaven Hill fan, this stuff is like gold. Gold. But today, the focus is on this You Do Bourbon Y624 batch of Elijah Craig. I have not tasted this since I brought it home from the distillery. Just giving it a look. It looks lovely, like a dark burnished bronze. I can't wait to smell it. I'm going to put this off to the side here. Well, put this off to the side here. You can see my name on this little tag, and I've already warmed up a little bit with some of that Russell's Reserve single barrel that I picked up from the distillery. And might be wondering I'm wearing a different shirt. That's okay. This is the day after I filmed that. Look at me. I'm talking about the continuity of my videos, and nobody watches them and nobody cares. It's not important. I'm sorry. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to smell it first. I'm really excited about this. I hope this is as good as I remember it, and better. So without further ado, whoa. That took me by surprise. It's 134 proof, and I did get a burst of ethanol there. But that's not what I'm shocked about. It smelled like toffee napalm. It smelled like caramel bitters. I'm getting a little cherry, root beer cola. The ethanol's gone away. My nose has become acclimated. Cherry, root beer cola, toffee, caramel, bitters. Almost like a grape. This reminds me of C923. And I haven't had C923 in a while. When I had C923, the first thing that hits you is the ethanol punch, but there's this deep, 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 rich cherry note in there that smells as if you burnt or like baked cherries in preserve and let it get to a dark creme brulee crust and served it with some custard, vanilla custard ice cream. This, on the other hand, let's see the legs. It's like it's slow motion here. It's pretty oily. Okay, it's dripping a little faster than I would like, especially considering that I think it's pretty old. We'll see what the mouthfeel looks like. Drip, drip, drip. Oh, there it is. That dusty oak is coming along now. That was my first impression when I tried the nose on this, was a light dusting of oak that you would find in walking into an absolutely ancient wooden home that has been meticulously taken care of. There's just, if you've ever been inside of, at least in the East Coast, we have a lot of 100-year-old, 200-year-old historic homes from the settlers. And when you enter into one of those homes that it hasn't been taken care of, it smells like a wet, moldy rag and dissolved wood chips. Doesn't smell good. But when you go into one of them and they have the original floors, meticulously crafted furniture that, hi Popo. Oh, you're so sweet too. Are you happy to see me? Good girl. I love you. Oh, I love you too. I love you too. That's my better half. She's in a little bit better mood today. But where was I? The meticulously well-crafted furniture, just the oils and the stains and the little worn out marks on the floor and on the railings that only come from rubbing your hand against it over and over and over again through the entry and exit of the building. Just the little bumps and grooves, the natural wear and tear and the refinishing of that wood makes it unique, right? And what reminds me of that nose is this bourbon. I'm going to smell it again. I'm almost getting like an almond cookie now. A cinnamon oak almond cookie with a little bit of grape jelly. With root beer cola, burnt cherries, a little creme brulee now, vanilla. Yeah, vanilla caramel, burnt vanilla caramel. This nose is a lot better than I thought it would be. It smells good. This smells really good. Not quite as fruit forward, but in a different way. With the C923 that I had, that dark cherry note was burnt, and it just inhabited the very core of the whiskey. And as you sipped it, that burnt cherry note exploded into the back of your palate and let the finish be a little bit bitter and astringent sometimes, but the fruit notes made up for it. It was dark, it was deep. With this is a much more fruit and sugar, fruit and molasses, fruit and vanilla caramel. The burnt cherry, the cola, the root beer are all just sort of swirling around those fruit flavors and lending a supportive ear to the tune of fruit. So, it's not every day you get to smell a bourbon that smells that good. I am extremely curious to see how this is going to stack up. I hope it's not too astringent. I guess I've talked about the nose long enough, and it's time to try the palate. Wish me luck. Right away, root beer cola, cherry cola, oak, brown sugar, molasses. It just climbed and worked its way right into your gullet. Finish is still going. Great mouthfeel. Starting to slowly fade now. Kentucky Hug is still going. Wow. Hits the middle of your chest. Pops you right there. That's 134 proof. But on the first sip, fresh bottle crack, that was great. That was great. Wow. That hits hard. I'm not sure if it is like battery acid ethanol. I'm going to try another sip. Yep. Getting a little bit more of that cherry, the oak. Really coming out now. Getting like orange bitters too. Caramel, the vanilla, creme brulee. Talk about sassy. But not too proofy. No, that first initial wave of heat has strongly dissipated. I'm getting a lot of the flavor, but not as much of the heat. Finish is delectable. And this, I keep saying cherry, root beer, cola, like burnt cherries, but now instead of it being like a burnt cherry, I would call this a dehydrated cherry preserve. It's a lot brighter on the palate than I thought. The sugar, the molasses, if I had to think of this, think preserved cherries, and then you poured like a vanilla caramel sugar bark into that, broke it up, served it on a cedar plank, lightly toasted. And then once you've done that, get a scoop of vanilla ice cream, some creme brulee, custard, more caramel, some orange citrus peel, candied oranges. Wow, that's good. And on the nose, I'm getting the cinnamon orange, cherries. I certainly think that's lovely. That's really lovely. That's really lovely. We're going to do a little test here. Boop. Boop. Excuse me. Another. So, this is the C923. We're going to pour a little bit of this, just ever so slightly. Right? And this is a 10-year-old single barrel. 129 proof. Big oak. Big oak. Strong, like bull. We're going to try the C923 first. See the C923. Look at the color.
almost looks a little lighter, to be honest with you.
It's a surprise. I almost like the nose on this better. Definitely different. This one, C923, big cherry, big vanilla, citrus, cola, but definitely leans more towards the burnt fruits in a good way. Burnt fruit, barrel char, sweet, delicate oak that just almost rides the line between too harsh and just sweet enough. Perfectly. Perfectly. This. A little proofier. Finish is better. The C923 runs in the vein of burnt fruits and dark sugar. The Y624 leans into soda cola, rich oak, root beer, ginger beer, orange, sweet flavor. If I had to say, the C923 is like an old man that shoos you out from his porch whenever he sees you, and then one day he sees you down on your luck, drenched in rain and rags and tatters. C923, that old man invites you into his home. He cooks you a fresh apple pie, cherry pie, gives you some ice cream, wraps a towel around you, and starts telling you about an absolutely incredible life of debauchery, sin, heartfelt love, and a determination to succeed that didn't quite pan out the way he expected, but he found a home and he made what was his own. Pretty much, C923 tastes like a life well lived, and one in which it's outlived its happiness. And it's just an old man that is rich and decadent with history, with a lot of life left to give, if I had to describe that. And this one, I'd call this an Amish family, Mennonite family, living in a wood beam home, making the best out of their situation, cooking home-cooked meals every day, Dutch shoe fly pie, pecan pie, apple pie, cherry pie, just a bakery of experiences with this one. And that family, they eat hearty. Just the age that you can feel walking into their home, walking into this bourbon. You could taste the age, you could taste the hard work, you could taste the proof, right? They're a little hostile, but just warm, sit around the fire, talk about how life is working out, and the peacefulness of animals, and the sewing of cloaks, the whittling away of sticks, just a quiet, peaceful feeling of true satisfaction after a well-eaten meal. Two completely different experiences, but old, traditional, old-fashioned, just wonderfully crafted. Now we're going to try the single barrel, 10 years old, 129.3 proof. It's So this one should be the easiest drink of all of them. Just getting walnuts. The nose is almost non-existent. I go over here. Wow. I mean, just shows up, that's for sure. And the same amount in both of them. This C923 though just falls out. That one, amazing. Amazing. Let's try this. One note. I can't even say that with a straight face. I lean towards Elijah Craig single barrels that are 10 years old. I've had a great 8-year pick before. Really good bourbon, but I much prefer 10 years old for my Elijah Craig picks. And I don't necessarily like high proof when it comes to my single barrel picks of Elijah Craig. Just because I think the more time it has to age in the barrel, more flavorful it gets, at least with the single barrels. And they really benefit, these single barrels, the batch proofs, really benefit from getting blended expertly. That's my one knock on the single barrels of Elijah Craig, is that sometimes they can be a little one note at the very high proof points, at least in my opinion. And I'm only saying that because when you drink these truly special Elijah Craig barrel proof releases, you can tell it's a real step up. You can tell these are a real step up. And the single barrels, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, it's delicious. But when I taste this, I mean, the mouth feels good. Like cherry peppermint bark. Peanut brittle. And you want to talk about thick mouth coating. This one almost takes the cake. It just spreads, climbs right up my gums. It almost gives the C923 a run for its money. If I had to say, this one's not even close. This single barrel is not even close. And this one I genuinely enjoyed. I like this one a lot. As you can see, I've been savoring it, trying not to pick away at it. I've only have this one. And I really like the profile that this one comes from, that liquor store and their selections. But man, that's just sad. It makes me feel bad now that I drank out of it. It's like, it's not even fair. These two, if this is an adolescent, if this is a young man, or even a man that goes about his time as a productive member of society, these two are great men that have been there, that have done that, and that have lived, truly lived, for better or for worse. I'll do one last. Man, that Elijah Craig C923 just has almost everything that a fan of Heaven Hill could love. Wow. I'm just stunned. I'm really stunned at how good C923 was. And more importantly, I think I've drifted away from my Y624. But this has a unique characteristic of deliciousness that is shared in the C923. I think this C923, like I said before, is a little bit fruitier and dark fruit. This Y624 has a bouquet of fruit and leans more towards the cola aspects that I appreciate in a good like stag, or at least that's what I've heard. It's great. It's delicious. I can't. As you can see, drinking 130 proof whiskey this quickly is kind of affecting my sixth senses. It's really done a number on me. If I had to say a winner out of these three, let's go with recency bias. I'll say Y624 is a noble competitor to the C923. I would have to drink both of them in a full pour at the same time, and even then I might just flip a coin. It's just that good. And for two completely different reasons. Where this one is strong, this one is soft. Where this one is overpoweringly strong, this one is soft. It's apples to oranges. It's two different experiences, but turned up to 11. They are beautiful in their own right, and they have no reason to compete, other than for our pleasure, of course. Yeah, this one. Vanilla oak, caramel, good mouthfeel, delectable. Feels thin compared to these two. These two are like chewing on bubble gum, swishing with Paver's tar, but you know, the best tasting Paver's tar you've ever had. These two are viscous, and you just look at the way that this whiskey travels around the glass. It ain't playing around. It ain't messing around. What to say about this one that I don't like? I don't like that I don't have more of it. I really like it. If I had to say that there was something that's not great with it, it would probably be the proof. You don't really get a lot of the proof. You could definitely feel it, and that's what. On the first sip, it's definitely hot. As you sip through it, as it coats your mouth, the finish is long and lingering and luxurious. The proof, I wish was lower. Yeah, I hate saying that, but I wish it was lower because I want to drink more of it faster. And I think having a high proof whiskey is probably delicious in its own right. Mostly because it takes a lot less to get the job done. And when you do drink it, you have to be careful. But wait, there is something that I haven't done yet. Add a few drops of water. Oh my goodness. I wonder how this is going to turn out. Let's see if this opens it up a little bit. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to place these off to the side. We will smell them later. Oh my goodness. I'm going to get my water bottle. Oh, and I'm going to take a sip. sort of linger around. Now, if every distillery did something like this, I would be pretty impressed. If they created this experience where you had a blend of small batch barrels, maybe Jim Beam does it. I heard they do a single barrel selection there that you could buy with a tour. But these guys at Heaven Hill sure know how to do it. They know how to make great whiskey quickly and effectively. Yep. That cola. Cola. Little lighter, little brighter. Still the same great mouthfeel. Oaky and delectable. This isn't jaw-droppingly good. This is put you through your paces and make you happy that you opened the bottle good. This one's great. It's fantastic. I really, really, really like this. And if just because I love C923 like a second child, I would say the C923 is better because I can't speak ill of it. It's just that good. But man, am I happy that I found a bottle that is almost as good, if not just as good, but for completely different reasons and with a lovely personality to it. I really don't want to drink the rest of it. I kind of liked having this experience. I kind of liked having this drink. It's peaceful, it's relaxing, and comparing it to these two other Elijah Craigs felt worthy. The single barrel, unfortunately, was not up to the task. C923 was a beast. It was a monster. It was a dragon that is not going to be slayed anytime soon. Though at the time of this recording, the C924 batch of Elijah Craig hasn't come out yet. The A batch, I didn't try it. I liked the B524 batch this year. I actually really liked that. It was really good for me. It just hit my profile better than the B523 batch, which I know some people had a little bit of favoritism towards, but it felt like a really weak batch to me, the B523. I've come back to it 4 or 5 times now. Just doesn't do it for me. But the B524, really nice. And who knows, maybe the C924 might be ultra well aged and a stunning experience. Who knows? I'd be really surprised though. I think that's a bad precedent to set, having 2 younger releases in the year and then having a really ultra aged one at the end of the year. If anything, you should keep it random, keep people guessing. It's only going to cause a frenzy. And I understand that's good for marketing. I understand it's good for end of the year sales. And it looks good to, by all the metrics, to have a really strong a strong finish at the end of the year. But from the consumer standpoint, I think just in quality alone, the experience of Heaven Hill and these Elijah Craig barrel proofs hasn't gone down. The barrel proofs for Larceny are fantastic. The Bernheim is trying to find its way. It's still a little lost. It had a great start, but that's going to come out. I liked the Larceny C923 last year. B523 I wasn't a big fan of. I have not tried the Larceny A124 or the Larceny B524. That's my one gripe. That is my one gripe with Larceny, is that if you've had one, the rest of them are pretty much the same. Like, they're not like, oh my god, they're amazing. No, they're great. Just not. I'm not a big weeded bourbon fan. But yeah, I think Elijah Craig has a lot of potential, especially when they're making barrels like these that go into releases like this, and that are arguably some of the best whiskey I've had all year. And I've had some pretty good whiskey this year. So this one right now is my bourbon of the year. And I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to be able to find a Russell's 15 anywhere. And I'm not paying $45 for it. So in my heart and in my home, this is the best Heaven Hill bourbon that I'll have all year. I hope I'm wrong with the C batch. And we will sip this one last time. Goodbye, my sweet. Goodbye, my love. I hope to see you again very soon. And thank you, Bourbon, for this incredible experience. I will treasure this. I will enjoy it. And wow, until next time, thank you again. I know you think I'm crazy talking to this bourbon, but man, sometimes it makes me wonder, these bourbons have a little bit of soul to them. The really good ones are a little bit alive. Now this is a bourbon I can't wait to smell tomorrow when the glass is dry. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for hanging out with me for a little while and watching me get all boozed up. And I appreciate you. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day or your evening. And I hope to see you again soon. I have no idea what I will review, but it's going to be good. Thank you. And goodbye.